Hello, I'm Jan, and this is Dinoberry Studio. In this video, I'm going to be working on this month's System Agnostic Postcard Dungeon for Patreon. Hope y'all are safe and sound. This month's scenario is set in Paisley Manor. At an old abandoned property, ghosts have taken over and have stolen all manner of bedsheets and curtains from the neighboring homes. Many years later, after the last resident passed away, this empty building has sprung to life again with glowing windows, non-stop music, and haunting laughter. So the truth is, I had the idea for this before I started the Postcard Dungeon Club. And I was gonna save this idea for next October, but to be honest, I didn't feel like waiting that long. I also write my own rules, like, all the time, so today I'm enjoying Halloween in April. And in my springtime Halloween, monsters are busy planting flowers, a witch's brew is a hot cup of loose leaf tea, and most importantly, little ghosts wear sheets in striped, checkered, and floral patterns. With the art for the stickers done, let's map it out. Dancing little guy. He's like boom boom beep ba doom ba doom beep, boom boom beep boom ba doom beep. So this little manor has a little greenhouse with a trail of steppy stones. I also wanted to add some little trees and bushes, and I placed houseplants all over the house. Paisley Manor is pretty quaint for a manor. It's only one bedroom and one bath, but it has a giant room with a stage at the entry, perfect for parties and dancing. To the right, there's a library, or lounge, that's entirely filled with books. There's also a dining room for more intimate get-togethers. And next to that is a stock kitchen, pantry, and laundry room. Now imagine these rooms just filled with floating bed sheets that are dancing, tossing books, playing with knives in the kitchen, and just overall causing a ruckus. Now that all the art stuff is done, it's time for layout. I did lose footage of how I formatted the map side. Sorry about that. But here's a peek anyway. I added a title, I expanded the green background, added more interest to the ballroom floor, labeled an attic door. I also added numbers to note all the rooms. I kept the layout pretty sweet and simple this month. The title of the postcard is on the map side, so I'm not too pressed to fit a heading on this side. I left the key object open-ended to give the game master control over the detail. By doing this, they can kind of determine how difficult the scenario is for the party. It could be a sentimental item, or perhaps a specific object that you can only get with the help of a ghost. Like last month's dungeon, this isn't really a typical high fantasy crawl through caves or cobblestone halls. But behind a mystery that's haunting this town, there's a kind of sweet story to uncover, and a house party full of silly spirits to meet. Unlike my last videos, this time I'll be going a little bit more in depth about how I print and cut stickers for my Patreon using a vinyl cutting machine. The cutting machine I use is the Silhouette Cameo 4 Plus, so here we are in Silhouette Studio. After I create the art, I isolate each drawing and save them as transparent PNGs. I like to try to create digital art at 400 to 600 dpi, just to be safe, but you just need to make sure that at a minimum you print at 300 dpi, so it doesn't come out pixelated or blurry. Once you have your art, you can just drag and drop it into Studio. Next, you'll want to mess with the sizing and make sure you can get everything to fit. I'm aiming for stickers that are about 3 inches. But before I get too deep into placing the designs, I'm going to add a safe space around each design. To do that, you can use the offset tool that looks like a little star with an outline. Select offset to create a surrounding path. Here in this little window, you can change the distance as needed. Next, you'll want to double click on the path you just made and make sure you simplify it. This will help the machine run smoother and faster than having something with a bajillion nodes to process. If you need to, you can also adjust nodes individually. I'm just going to add an offset to all these little dudes now. Cool. Now that we have a safe zone between our design and our cut line, I'm going to change these outer paths to another color to set them apart from the red path that's holding the original drawing. I'll show you why I do this in a little bit. So to change the color of a path, go to Line Style, this little line sandwich here. Select this second tab and just pick any other color. As you do this, just make sure you set all of your cut lines to the same color. Next, we can finally arrange our stickers on the page. By the way, if your new paths aren't attached to your designs, you can just group them together. On PC, I just left click and drag to select the pieces, and then I use Ctrl-G to group. So as I'm arranging these pieces, there's a few things I need to be careful about. I have to keep all the designs inside this red rectangle and outside of this crisscross crosshatch area. I can put cut lines kind of nearby, but not too close. I don't want them to overlap. because I like to do my best to not waste material, I also squeeze in as many mini ghosts as I can. Now that the arrangement looks good, I'm going to move from the Design tab over to the Send tab. Oh, but before we can tell our machine to cut anything, we need to print and prep. Here's the print preview. Make sure your favorite printer is selected and make sure you load your sticker paper in the right direction. I have absolutely printed on the back sheet before. Always double check that your settings are correct. I have a little preset saved for my stickers. Once it's printed, I'll stick the page onto one of my cutting mats and I'll layer over a clear vinyl lamination sheet. I like to stick down one corner of the laminate first and then slowly push down on the laminate on one side while I roll the backing off with my other hand. By the way, this is a thicker third-party cutting mat that's about 6 years old, so it has been through a lot of experimental cutting depths on different materials over the years. So they're in rough shape, but they still do the job. I did mess up the lamination on one corner of this page because I haven't done this with a camera totally in my way before.
Gonna struggle to do this as I can't see past the camera.
But that's okay. The important stickers survived and that's good enough for me. Next, we load the cutting mat into the machine and we go back to Studio. And very importantly, in Studio, we want to make sure that we're in the Line tab and not the Simple tab before we send the cutting job to the machine. This is where your different colored paths become important. For every path color you've assigned in your document, you can set specific cut settings. For what I need, I'm just going to turn off all the red paths and set the blue paths to my custom settings that I've found work on my material, and then I hit send. By the way, thanks for watching, subbing, liking, and all the other cool stuff you do. We're closing in on 100 subs, and I just wanted to thank y'all for being a part of the first 100. Y'all, these baby ghosts are so cute. For everyone who joins the sticker or dungeon club in April, you'll be getting one of these holy sheet stickers and a random pair of these other big ghosties. That's it for Paisley Manor. Happy Halloween in April. Next month's theme is pretty interesting. It is inspired by public rail transit maps and a comment from a patron. So if there's a theme you'd like for me to explore in the future, or if you have any tips or tricks for me, feel free to drop a comment below. Okay, bye-bye.